We can do that by getting our bolo grips. And it depends on the way you guys play the bolo, if it's just the La Riva belt in the hands, or the La Riva, this wrap all the way in when you place your hand inside your hips. A lot of people do that, and then the belt. We also know that for every type of bolo, or we either have the belt or we either have the pants, right? So the good point about gripping the pants is that the pants, they're not going anywhere. So if the guy doesn't have pants, so they can stop the fight, so your grip's always going to be stuck there. Belts sometimes move around a little bit, but depending on how early you guys are in the mat, you're going to be able to, in the match, you guys are going to be able to grip the belt and work bolos from there. So the key element here, depending on, doesn't matter which grip you're using, if it's all the way in and the belt or just the ankle. So my job is going to be start building angle where my head is across his leg and here I'm facing his hip. So the more I have my hip, even though my body is sideways, but my hip is ahead of my opponent's foot, just a little bit, yeah, so I can face the camera. So if my hip is ahead of his foot, no matter if I try to extend my leg, you guys can see it's not gonna go there. Even if I try point my toes inside to reach his hip, it's not gonna happen. So my job is gonna be, needs to be step on the mat and move my hip away. Finding situations where naturally this leg that I'm back heeling is already ahead of my opponent's hip, and then we can start hooking towards there. So once we hook and we have a good bite, so my job can be start switching from this setup where it's completely deep burn bolo, my hand is controlling my thigh, to the ankle, and then if Ethan starts moving around to start passing my guard, so I'm always going to find ways of readjusting myself. I can use this belt control to pull myself up, and then we start building here different type of connections so we can pretty much be effective in off balancing him. So no matter which setup you're using here, if it's just hand on the ankle or you guys are all the way in, which is more common in high level athletes, like they like to get this bite pretty solid. A few of them as well set up with tight La Rivas. I personally don't feel I have a good bite over here because I'm kind of splitting my mobility 50% on my leg and 50% on my upper body. So I personally like to go all the way in and have just this bite so I can feel that my grip's really tight. And then from here, by having the hand on the belt, which we always gonna have access most of the case, so I step on the mat and then I start building angle. So once you build angle, you can see Ethan is back stepping and adjusting his base. I can just shoot my hook all the way there and then I grab the heel. So if we have those two grips, Ethan he needs to move around, of course, or either facing or either back step. So we're gonna fight a little bit over here. If he walks forward, I'm probably gonna have my DLR Riva X, and if he backstab, he's just opening the door for me. We can start moving around and then probably going straight to the leg. So the main point here is move your hips around the leg instead of just trying to shoot your DLR Riva X. And yeah, pretty much that. You guys, if you guys feel that this cue is already very settled here, you guys can start pendulum like this to move yourself to the side, and then we fight for the hip. But bolos, mostly, if you guys see good athletes competing, you guys will see that at some point they always flare elbows as I'm doing here, my right arm, and step on the mats to create a good angle. If we have this good angle, we hook the Riva X, and from here we work. If Ethan moves around a little bit, if he exposes the leg, just grab it. If he comes forward, we have here a very good setup where I'm bringing my knees against my chest, and then you're gonna be ready to go. So pretty much that, it's as the other setups we watched previously, you guys watched previously. We have a type of guard that translates into DLR Riva X. As DLR Riva X, we are right inside the hips. It's always going to be something that you guys can be refreshing, seeing the scenario you guys are and progressing into something else by adjusting more your leg position. Okay guys, another setup, another sweep facing a different scenario now. We're going to control the far sleeve from the opposite side that we're playing DLR Riva X. So, and normally when I conquer this his sleeve. I normally come from Collins guard. I play Collins guard this side, so I have my right hand controlling the sleeve. And then from positions like this, I move to the side. I play some De La Riva, I control the angle, and then I start building my zip De La Riva X. So from this position, as I started with this sleeve, it's pretty easy to maintain this control once we have the De La Riva X. If I combine my grip to the collar. So if I'm controlling his upper body, if he tries posture up or break my grip, like, so this sleeve control, it's gonna be pretty hard from him. Like, he doesn't even know how to like break this connection because I have his upper body control. If I just have this sleeve, it's gonna be pretty easy to hit him posture up and then break my grip. I'm not gonna be able to hold it. So every time you guys have the forward sleeve, as I explained before, you guys should have the combination with the hand and the collar. So you guys are giving assistance to your sleeve. The sleeve never works by itself as sleeve control, but with the hand and the collar is pretty solid. So what are we gonna do now? So as we have this grip, even if Ethan postures up, you guys know what to do. We create momentum by like creating this like little pendulum with our back. So we bend the knees and we bring him over. So if he's over my hips, we need to expect that anyone they're gonna be like trying to base out, they're wide the days, like pushing themselves away. It's not a big deal for us unless he's over my hip. So if he moves too far because he's pushing away and I feel like I'm losing connection to my hooks, I can start working with ankle traps, but my goal should be sit up again and close the distance. This is what I'm looking for. Every time he disengages and my legs are extended, if I try to pull him back from here, I can try if I'm strong enough, I may get it, but ideally I should climb on my body and then use momentum to bend my knees. I'm always going to win this battle. So once we have positions like this, my job is going to be to start facing the direction I'm controlling this leg. So I'm controlling his left arm, my right side. So I'm going to just start turning my upper body towards there. So the more I turn my upper body, doesn't matter if I have this elbow very wide or pretty close, this grip on this leg, I just need to keep things closer to my body. So now I'm going to start extending my leg just enough to force him to either base out or just fall straight forward. People, they normally, it's kind of hard to be okay in this one. People, they base out and we trap, we're going to see in the next one, but if they just fall because they are not being able to step out, it's not a problem. We're going to end in situations like this. So as we have zip to Riva X, we're going to just like naturally follow up, and then in this position, what we do? We keep the hand on the sleeve, we keep the hand on the collar, and then I'm just going to do this technical stand up where I high step back with my knee. So you guys can see here, it's just an easy dip to Riva X. I don't release my grips because I need to beat his upper body in the scrimmage. So I keep my elbow on the mat, and then I high step back, and now I have my right knee on the mat, and this situation where I can pin his upper body on the mat. If he tries to play guard or anything, it's not hard for me to pop up and then start passing towards the side, which may be pretty solid. And zero is kind of flavor. So let's do it again. So we can either start with this little build up into X guard, and then we have the collar if he's pretty high and I feel I cannot beat him up, so I sit up and close my body and create momentum until I break him down again. So his level is pretty close to mine, he's above my hips. So don't just try to base out with your left leg. So if I start turning there and he base out, like he's doing here, so the more I turn sideways, the harder it's going to be for him to base out. So he can either start opening his base like here and trap his foot and break him down, or I can just keep forcing the situation where I'm completely sideways, and I'm going to be my body's going to be very stable for him to stay above. So it's going to be hard for Ethan keeps his base. So now I keep my grips, collar and sleeve, high step back, and we are in this position, right? So worst case, if he brings his knees back to the chest and he's playing guard, we already scored points. He can just be very, very effective from here.